Hi, I'm Jeff. Welcome to Jeff's Adventures. Today we're in my most favorite place in the whole world, Sawgrasslake St. Petersburg, Florida. It's one of my favorite places to go when I'm in St. Pete to look for wildlife. So today we're going to scour the whole park and we're going to see what we can find and have fun doing it, okay? Alright. Sawgrass Lake is located at 7400 25th Street North in St. Petersburg, Florida. Sawgrass is 400 acres in size, and it's the only park that allows people to walk through one of the largest maple swamps on the Gulf Coast of Florida. Sawgrass Lake Park is mentioned by the Great Florida Birding Trail and the National Audubon Society as one of the premier birding sites in Florida. Thousands of birds migrate through the park during the fall and spring, attracting birders from all over the country. Sawgrass is one of my favorite places to be on a Saturday and Sunday morning. Walking the boardwalk and trails while taking pictures and video is what I like to do. This is the lake in which gives Sawgrass its name. The park's mile-long boardwalk and half-mile dirt trail provide a great opportunity to see all kinds of wildlife, like the wildlife you will see in this video, in their natural settings. The boardwalk provides a great viewing platform for spotting insects and reptiles while you walk. With a keen eye, there is no limits to what you might see along the boardwalk. On the hammock trail, you get off the boardwalk and get right up close to the wildlife. This is my favorite part of Sawgrass. People of all ages come to the park and take in the fresh air and beauty, and not to mention the wildlife. So if you want to come to the park to walk or exercise, or just have a picnic, or just take in nature, this is the place to be. One of the most famous residents of the park would be the alligator. Everyone who comes to the park wants to see an alligator, no matter how big. They just want to see one. All of the gators you will see at the park average in size from 6 inches to 4 feet. This little guy is about 6 inches. He is a baby. You can tell by the size and the yellow stripes on his body. They lose these stripes as they get bigger. Alligators grow about a foot a year. When alligators are this young, they stay close to shore in the tall grass, or close to mama. This one is about 3 feet long. He's watching me watch him as he floats out of the frame of my camera. If you come to Sawgrass to see a big gator, the biggest you will see will be about 5 feet long. The reason you won't see one this size anymore is because any gator over 6 feet is a nuisance gator, and they are hunted down and killed because people can't understand not to walk their dogs by the water or not to feed the alligators, because when they feed them they lose fear of humans and associate them with food, and that leads to death for the gator. During the afternoon you can see all the little gators sunning themselves on the banks of the canal. Gators do most of their hunting at night. They have very good night vision, so during the day they sit on the banks and absorb energy from the sun. Okay, enough with the gators. There are other reptiles in this park that are just as exciting. Like this 5-line race runner, or the other name would be the southeastern 5-line skink. And the one you see here is an adult. The diet of the southeastern 5-line skink consists primarily of lizards and insects. They prefer larger prey such as grasshoppers and roaches. They also love moist habitats. They have lightning speed when going after prey, as seen in this clip.
You've seen what an adult looks like. Now this is an adolescent skink. As the skink ages, its stripes will fade and its tail will change to a more natural color. I love watching these young skinks chase bugs along the old logs in sawgrass. These skinks are non-poisonous and are no threat to humans. The female will lay 6 to 12 eggs. Then the female broods the eggs and protects them from predators, including other skinks. The hatchlings appear 1 month after the eggs have been laid in early summer. One of my favorite common lizards would be the green anole, like the one you see here. I just think they are so cool. The green anole is a native species of Florida, but you don't see many around in the city anymore. This is the second one I have seen at this park. I love how they can change color to adapt to their environment and conceal themselves from predators. They are truly a remarkable reptile. Another awesome reptile you can find at the park would be the gopher tortoise. I like to call them a lawnmower with legs. I know in my last episode of Jeff's Adventures they were the feature story, so we won't spend much time on them. But look how this guy can fly through the grass. Here we have a box turtle. He is much smaller than the gopher tortoise, and he doesn't dig his own burrow. Florida box turtles are omnivores. When young, they eat carnivorous diets, but as they age, they begin to include plants. They inhabit moist areas in pine and hammock forests near fresh bodies of water. They spend a majority of their time on land as they are not a water turtle. They are considered semi-aquatic turtles, and they have a hinged shell which allows them to tuck their head and limbs inside their shell if in danger. And another resident of Sawgrass is the Florida soft-shelled turtles, are mostly aquatic, generally only emerging from the water to bask or to lay eggs. They prefer still waters and can be found in ponds, streams, rivers, lakes, and swamps. The Florida softshell is a carnivore, consuming fish, frogs, and other amphibians, insects, duck hatchlings, and crustaceans. These turtles are normally shy around humans, and they have very powerful jaws and a long neck. They can reach almost to their hind legs, so don't pick them up if you don't know what you're doing. Here we have a brown Cuban anole eating a green bug. Brown Cuban anole is an invasive species and is probably the reason for the decline in the green anole species. Both anoles are very territorial and they clash over who is getting what tree. I know this is such a long clip, but it's worth watching. The Cuban anole is mostly found in Cuba and the Caribbean until they got a ride over here, and now they span from the Keys to Jacksonville. They spread through the state like wildfire. Eating mostly the same insects as the green anole, that's when the turf war started between these two reptiles. This is a very young banded water snake. The banded water snake is the most common snake in Florida. It lives in rivers, lakes, ponds, and ditches. Banded water snakes are often mistaken for the venomous cottonmouth or water moccasin. You can see on this juvenile banded water snake it is very bright in color, and you can see his bands clearly. When he gets older, his bright colors will fade much darker, almost looking like a water moccasin, but you can usually tell them apart by their behavior. Cottonmouths open their jaws in a threatening display, showing off the white inside the mouth, and they also twitch the tip of their tail when they are disturbed. And another way is to look at the head and eyes. A cottonmouth has a much bigger head and diamond-shaped eyes, where a banded water snake has a small head and round eyes. This black racer is the biggest one I've ever seen, the easy 6 foot. Let's take a break from the reptiles and hang out in the butterfly garden, and when we come back we can look for some amphibians. Wow, check out this green tree frog. That's an awesome find, sitting right along the boardwalk. One of the biggest ones I've seen at the park yet. Green tree frogs have very cool adhesive discs on their toes that help them to cling and to climb among the leaves and the branches. These adhesive toe pads even allow them to cling to glass, and in the summer you often see green tree frogs and squirrel tree frogs on the outside of windows eating insects attracted to the light. Many tree frogs can change color like a chameleon, and green tree frogs are dark olive brown or charcoal color when they are stressed or cold. You can see those dark colors in this clip. He wasn't stressed, but I think he was cold because he was in a sunny spot on the boardwalk. But they become brighter green at other times. They grow to about 2.2 inches long, and this guy was every bit of 2 inches and then some. Green tree frogs can be recognized by the creamy white stripe that extends down both sides of their body, as you can see in this shot. Here we have a 9-banded armadillo. These guys can be found on the hammock trail off the boardwalk. These guys love bugs and they are fun to watch. If you want to see more on the 9-banded armadillo, watch Jeff's Adventures, the 9-banded armadillo. We have mentioned that sawgrass is part of the Great Birding Trail, so let's take a look why. Check out this great egret hunting on the shore of the canal. The great egret is in my top 5 birds that I find awesome. Their diet consists of frogs, fish, snakes, baby ducks, and about anything else they can spear with their long beak. This is a rooster, and don't ask me where he came from, but he's also at the park. Wow, what a great find, a pileated woodpecker. I've been trying to get a shot of this bird for the longest time. It's not as still, but just as good. This is the largest North American woodpecker after the ivory bill, which is believed to be extinct. The pileated woodpecker lives in dense, mature forests. They are both spectacular and noisy. They can get pretty loud when pecking away looking for carpenter ants and beetle larvae in an old dead tree. You would think someone is cutting down the forest. They are very beautiful birds, and at the time there were 2 of them. The other one was on the ground pecking at an old log. These birds don't stay around long. I guess I was at the right place at the right time. Here we have a great blue heron hanging out on the bank. The great blue heron is also in my top 5 of awesome birds. This is a juvenile common moorhen. These birds walk on the top of the lily pads and water vegetation and eat insects, tadpoles, fruits, and seeds. And another common bird you will see at Sawgrass are the white ibis. They walk along in the grass or the shoreline of ponds and rivers, sticking their long beaks into the grounds looking for insects, frogs, and snakes. And they usually travel in packs like you see here. Now let's get into the small wonders of the park, the insects and spiders, like this crab spider web. I don't know what kind he is, but I wouldn't want to walk into his web and have it wrapped around my face. In this clip we have a green grasshopper eating a leaf. I sped up the video to show you how they can eat a leaf in real time. It took him 1 minute and 14 seconds to eat this leaf. In this clip we have an orb spider hanging out on his web. This is another spider I would not like in my face. It's just amazing to me how these spiders can build something like this just from instinct, and how graceful they are doing it. One of the highlights of my day was when I found this golden digger wasp digging a den to lay eggs in. I must have watched and recorded her digging her den for at least an hour. Golden digger wasps are solitary wasps. The wasps you see on the nest are social wasps. After she gets the den dug, then she will find prey, grasshoppers, etc. She will sting them and bring them back to the den and lay her eggs. When the larvae hatch, they will feed on the prey. Seeing something amazing like this reminds me why I love doing it. And these are the social wasps. Here we have another grasshopper. What you can't see in this clip is that there was another grasshopper on the other side facing him, and they were getting ready to fight. All the animals in this video live at Sawgrass, and there's a lot more that's not in this video. So take your own adventure and see which ones you might find. And just remember that when you're at Sawgrass, you're in their house, not yours. Respect them and keep their house clean. Well, that's all for today. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode of Jeff's Adventures, the Amazing Sawgrass. So if you are ever in St. Petersburg, Florida, or just live here, take a trip to Sawgrass and see what you might find while you are walking the boardwalk or trails. Unlike many nature videographers and photographers, I do not disturb the wildlife in any way. I do not pick them up or prop them for a shot. I film or photograph them where I see them. With a zoom lens, I can stay back far enough not to disturb them. And just remember, you might not see them, but there's animals all around you.